Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivered this deep six.
We are 7 days away from WrestleMania 39. This is episode 104. I am joined by Tommy. It has been about 4 weeks or so. But Tommy, how are you doing?
It's been a while since I've been on here, but you'd be crazy if you thought I wasn't getting in for Mania season. This is the best time of the year, dude. I'm doing good. How about you, man?
Good, man. Good. It has been a crazy couple weeks, let me tell you.
Tell me.
But you know what? Like, we haven't been on in a few weeks, but that's okay because, like, a lot of the storylines didn't really solidify until, like, the last week or so.
Yeah.
It's been kind of a slow build, so I feel like this was finally, like, the week that we have more to talk about leading up to WrestleMania with the Rey Mysterio's storyline, coming to a halt. Not really coming to a halt, coming to where we expected it to be.
I mean,
Kevin
we have a
and
match.
Sammy. So like things are happening now. There was a couple of lulls for a week or so on Monday nights. But we got some stuff to talk about, man. But first, how you been?
I've been good, man. It's been a few just constant go kind of weeks, but no, I agree with you, man. Like it almost seems like the last couple of weeks, like WWE hasn't been so sure that it's been WrestleMania, coming up. It seems like a lot of the times the last few years we've had matches immediately built out after Chamber or after Rumble and everything, and it's like you just said, like even the Mysterios, like just last night, and honestly they could have waited even until the Hall of Fame ceremony with Rey Mysterio, but like just last night we got confirmed that there's a new match and a new storyline developed and everything, and like we all knew it would happen, but this WrestleMania's build-up has been a lot different, I'd say, from previous years, and I'm intrigued. A lot of people have been saying that this is one of the worst built-up WrestleManias, and
yes and no.
I don't know if I'd agree with that, but I would say that like this is still one of the more hyped manias I've been in a long time, at least for WrestleMania. Like I'm so excited for next.
This is like we have some of the most compelling storylines going into this WrestleMania that we've seen in any other year in memory. Yeah. We have we have one storyline that's dual layered with the bloodline. Then you got the Rey and Dominic storyline. You have a couple interesting women's matches. Like this is going to be a pretty good card.
Opening the card, like, and there's other matches that it's just like, yeah, those are big, but it almost seems like they're not getting the attention that they should be, and like they're not as mainstream as they are. Edge and Finn Balor. I mean, we're getting what seems to be like the Brood Edge versus Demon Balor in a
Hell in a Cell match.
Like we're getting that, and it's just kind of just like it's for most of the IWC, it's just there, and like I don't understand why, because this Mania has got some. If I'm being honest, I like the 6 to 7 match card. What it seems like it seems like there's going to be a not too much of filler, but there's just enough to where it's like you can get. You have a good amount of your roster on there, but you also have like matches that can kind of be those those bathroom breaks and like those quick hitters that are in between your big matches and everything. So I'm the people who are saying that this Mania is going to be bad, I have a very good feeling actually that this Mania is going to be very good.
I think it's gonna be very good.
I'm very excited for next Saturday. It would be hard for me to say that I'm not.
Yeah, man, this is gonna be a very, very good show, and I just can't believe we are 6 days away. We have one more Raw and one more SmackDown, WrestleMania SmackDown next Friday.
Yeah, dude.
That's it. 2 more shows left.
And I mean, like, it always comes at the time. Obviously, it's like Christmas almost. Like, as a wrestling fan, you know when WrestleMania is. But like, I feel like the lead up to it, and especially in the last few years, like, it's just been so fun. Like, it's just been like there's so much more intrigue, and it's like, hey, let's be real here. We got a person who's, you know, entering WrestleMania over 1,200 days at champ, and it's still kind of uncertain if he's gonna win, if he's gonna retain, like if he's gonna lose. Like, I'm intrigued. There's a lot of just good kind of I don't know if it's questions maybe, but there's just a lot of hype going into WrestleMania this year that I don't think there's been in previous years, in the sense of like, you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you could say you know who's going to win, you know, X, Y, and Z matches, and there are a few that I think that you can predict, but
yeah,
there's a lot of good matches here that I don't know if WWE has figured out who they want to win or when they want X person to show up. So I'm in a week, the smile that you see on my face now is going to be a lot bigger. And that, I mean, that's also when the Rays are going to be dominating the AL East.
So a lot of things are happening around WrestleMania.
Yeah,
well,
dude.
Before we jump into the card, a lot of things happen around WrestleMania. First off, your birthday is just a couple days after.
Yep, that Wednesday after.
We got Major League Baseball opening day 3 days before.
Dude, I can't.
Not to mention this NXT Stand and Deliver Saturday.
And Honor Club, your Ring of Honor.
When is that?
I think it's Saturday.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be a crazy day.
It's either Friday night or Saturday morning.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, dude. There's gonna be some good matches.
What else? We had MLB opening day. Oh, our 3rd year anniversary.
Jeez.
This is going to be kicking
just
off.
a week of numbers here. I feel like we're doing
the
Royal Rumble, like by the numbers kind of thing.
It's just kicking off. Season 4 is starting in about 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
I cannot believe we're going into our 4th year as a podcast. So excited. A lot of things happening. But let's jump into it. So announced the other day, opening match for night 1 is going to be John Cena versus Austin Theory. And you know what? I'm kind of getting flashbacks of WrestleMania 29 when I think it was either the first or second match. Fandango fought Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I think that was the opening match.
And Fandango got the win against a more over superstar Jericho. And this is also, I'm also having flashbacks of WrestleMania 20 when I was there, seeing John Cena challenge the Big Show for the United States Championship. So now I'm thinking here, I'm thinking Austin Theory drops the title to Cena and then wins it back the next night on Raw against Cena. I'm thinking they might do 50-50 booking.
Yeah.
Other than that, if they don't do it that way, I can't see Austin Theory losing, especially after the verbal beatdown that he took against Cena a couple weeks ago in Boston.
Good gosh.
He was... Oh my gosh! Like the shovel was taken out. The shovel was taken out.
Sucks because I obviously know that that's.
Actually, you know what? We gotta play this really quick. Hold on.
Burial's back.
Someone was taken out on Austin Theory, at least on the microphones, but Austin Theory's got to come out with a W here against Cena.
My only thing.
This builds a new superstar, by the way.
Yeah, my only thing that would have Cena winning, and I could see them do this, and it stinks. So I'm watching Mania Night 1 with my friends, and all I told them was like, I just want John Cena to wrestle on Night 1 so that you guys can see it, because obviously, if you know me, John Cena is the first wrestler that I ever got into, that got me into, wrestling and everything. But I could see them giving Cena the win only, and I agree with you, only to have him lose on Monday night and it be an open challenge. Obviously, Cena made the U.S. Open Challenge popular in 2015 during his run, and you hear Switchblade, Jay White's music.
Oh, yes.
I feel like that's the only way that you can do it. Like,
I did not think of that.
Obviously, everyone, could you imagine? I mean, Cena comes out, he's doing his whole thing, and Switchblade comes out on Monday night. Like, that is... And I say this in the way of, like, obviously Switchblade would win pretty quickly. How many more dream matches right now? Obviously, you can build, in the future and everything, but how many more dream matches do you have in wrestling that haven't been done? Obviously, we have the Forbidden Door. I assume some more dream matches will be announced for that, for the May pay-per-view. But we're talking WWE getting the chance for New Japan. Like,
I mean, the only time that we
Jay
can
White
get some dream matches if WWE is willing to open that Forbidden Door.
Correct.
Otherwise, we have to kind of wait a little while for that next big superstar.
Yeah, to make the jump,
take on Roman Reigns or something like that.
Yeah, and I feel like just with the way that there's been we've heard a lot of talk with Jay White, possibly going to AEW, possibly going to WWE. If this were to happen, if he were to make that jump, obviously his contract's up with New Japan. I think Monday night with that crowd would be the best. And I mean, if you want to establish a superstar, and this is no disrespect to Austin Theory, if I would actually have him, I agree with you, I'd have him win if it weren't for the possibility of this even being a thing. But if Cena wins, which I hope so, just from the fact that I'm a Cena fan, but like, if Cena wins, imagine who's bigger than Jay White, answering the call, winning. You build up a first star. He's obviously won the IWGP US title before in New Japan. And so you kind of have that continuity. Obviously, Triple H is a big New Japan fan with some of the guys that he's brought in. And man, I mean, have him be the guy who beats up John Cena. And then, you got, whatever. If you want to do the, beat up John Cena thing that AJ Styles did when he came back, boom, you got a first feud with him and AJ. Like, there's...
Not to mention, man,
this is fully fixated on the fact that Jay White is coming to WWE and will be debuting in a week and a half. But
that's a huge possibility here.
I would love to see that happen, and I'd love to see him be the guy who beats Cena. But man, I'm excited. I think if there's a first match that you can start WrestleMania with, obviously, I imagine Theory comes out first, and normally, obviously, the champion comes out second. But when it's Cena, that's different. But that first music being hit is either going to be Theory, Ultimate Heel Pop, and then you get Cena next, or you start the show with John Cena. Like, the pops are going to be in Hollywood are going to be immeasurable. I'm just so excited. This is great.
Let me ask you, how do you think Austin Theory is looking right now with this John Cena program? I feel like his stock is rising.
Yeah,
he's worked on his look. He cut a very good promo on Monday night.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like we're seeing a superstar in the making right in front of us.
You've been calling it. I'll give you credit, man. Like, Theory is the next guy, and I mean, in a way, I almost feel like Cena kind of punked Theory in that.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy! I could not believe what John Cena was saying to Austin Theory. Like, it was the ultimate mic work burial I've ever seen.
It's so funny, and
crazy.
I don't think people realize it. Like, when he was popular, or when he was obviously like full time, but like as a Cena fan, dude, anytime the dude comes back, he's just immediately cooking. I mean, look at the 2017 promo with Roman. Look at whatever he did with AJ. Like, anytime that he just randomly comes back, it seems like he hasn't missed a beat. Like, I almost felt like Theory had no chance with that promo. Not in the match, but just like just to build a character. And obviously that's what the goal of this match is to be. Whether Cena or Theory wins, we're trying to give Theory that rub of, hey, you're getting a WrestleMania match against not only the second coming of Mr. WrestleMania, but, you know, the guy who made the U.S. title kind of what it is. And I think that being in that spot is, you know, to some can be a lot, but Theory has especially after that promo, Theory has definitely kind of come into his own, and I'm intrigued because you can go either way. I still think if Theory loses, he's going to be a bigger star coming out of it. But obviously, if you beat John Cena in the opening match of WrestleMania, like that's a pretty big thing.
The night.
Yeah, like that's a big thing. So I'm intrigued.
Either way, it's going to be a big result.
Yeah, I think Theory is going to be fine. I think he's done a. It's almost one of those things where it's like you kind of. Time to swim, kid. Like, you let them see what they can do. And he got buried. If you have not seen that promo, like, it is a masterclass of John Cena doing what John Cena does, like what he's built a career off of. And Theory has answered perfectly. I kind of hope we might see new music. I like his A-Town Down, but I don't know. It could be a better character, but if you needed an opening match, I mean, that is the one that you pick, I think, for not having anything really announced, which is another weird thing. We only have like 2 matches per night announced.
Actually, there's quite a bit. We're gonna go more into that in 1 second.
Gotcha.
But let's run it down. Night 1 is Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, which we'll talk about next.
Yep.
Then you got the Women's Showcase Tag Match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Shotzi and Natalya versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, and another tag team to be determined. A tag team showcase. It should have been more like a number 1's contenders match, and this essentially that's probably what it's going to be.
Random matches put together.
Just to get people on the card. Then the Hell in a Cell Edge versus Finn Balor SmackDown Women's Championship
for night 1.
That supposedly confirmed for night 1. This is tentative. SmackDown Women's Championship Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. And then the main event Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Usos. And then night 2 you got Lita, Becky Lynch, and Trish Stratus versus Damage Control. Lesnar versus Omos, Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul, men's tag team showcase, Ricochet and Braun Strowman versus Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders, the triple threat match for Intercontinental Championship, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus Gunther, Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair versus Asuka, and the main event, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Seems pretty tentative that this is basically the exact layout of night 1 and night 2.
Seems pretty stacked. That's what I'm thinking.
It is. You're gonna have 6 matches on night 1, it looks like, and 7 matches on night 2. Total of 13 matches for WrestleMania.
I'm 100% okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Triple H style booking because he's not one to put usually more than 5 or 6 matches on a card.
Quality over quantity, man.
Like, but and that's the thing. Quality over quantity for sure.
And I even expect those, like, even if the tag team matches, because obviously they've been kind of thrown together, but even if they don't have like the best in-ring ability, I think there'll be a lot of storytelling. I think we'll see something with Otis and Massey and Mansoor. I think we'll see some stuff in the women's match too.
I love Otis.
That's great. But that's the thing. It's like just those little kind of like story nods that I think WWE has it's uncredited a lot, but WWE has done a lot recently. Whether it's just who's backstage, like hanging out in the background or whatever it is. Like WWE has done a really good job of kind of doing those little story beats that just, the keen viewer might notice. And I appreciate the fact that they've been doing that. So
I'm expecting Chad Gable to have like a singles match at next year's WrestleMania.
Gosh, dude, you gotta hope so.
You know what? I'm gonna call it right now because I'm hearing
matches.
Yeah, I'm hearing that Gable's gonna be like they're gonna kind of push him as a single star. But I would love to see Gable versus Johnny Gargano.
Yes, if you like
again
really watch Raw, if you watch Raw, I mean, anytime they just have him in these like quick 7-8 minute matches, it's the best thing on the show. Like it's even if it's just a quick little 1-2, like it's Chad Gable was just so underrated, and I credit him for the whole the thing with him and Otis, because they've made it work for as long as they have, for a pretty good way, and like the shoosh and like all that stuff. I love it. Like
they have to. Gable's got to move a little bit away from that to kind of get a little more serious if they want to push him as a serious star.
And hey, if that's what you got to do to make a new star out of him, and then kind of make the Maximum Male Models like its own thing, because obviously if there's a person that has the charisma to turn that gimmick around, not saying that it's bad, but like obviously like they're kind of looked at the jobber team as right now, but like if there's a person that charisma wise could turn that team around, it's Otis. So
he's done phenomenal work,
dude. I'm into it.
Like it's
just the most random thing, but it's worked so well so far. So yeah, I'm into it.
Let's move along. And then Rey Mysterio versus Dominic.
So
we've been predicting this since the start of our podcast, basically, right? Dominic came on the scene around WrestleMania.
Yeah.
SummerSlam 2020.
Debuted 2020 in Raw.
Yeah, because I think Dominic was doing the empty arenas in the NXT arena, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
So we've been calling it for a long time. We knew that WWE. We've been predicting this for 2.5 years now, that WWE was gonna do a match between Dominic and Rey Mysterio. It was just a matter of time, and I felt like it kind of took them a little long to get there. But
they
this
really
storyline became intriguing.
Really slow burn this shit.
This storyline became really intriguing.
Yeah. The last few weeks, it's kind of taken a step above.
And yesterday, when Dominic said "shut up" to his mom on live TV, and then Aaliyah got in her brother's face, Dominic, and then you see Rey Mysterio come back, and then just nailed him with the haymaker, knocked Dominic down, and that was it. You don't tell that is your mother. You don't tell my wife to shut up.
Yeah,
and boom, there's your match.
The pop, and that's what I think.
The crowd was loving it.
Is another testament to WWE's recent run. It's just like this match. We've known that it was happening at Mania for so long. And we're a week away, and they just confirmed it. And like that, and they honestly could have built it out until, if they hadn't announced this match until Hall of Fame night, like until the Hall of Fame, like, let's say Dom attacks him during the ceremony, which I still could see happening.
Yeah.
The crowd would still be eating it up. Like that was just such a well-timed moment. I think that I saw something to where it's already passed like 24,000 interactions on WWE's social media page over the last day, and like, or 24 million. Like that's crazy, dude. Like there's the hype for this Mania is insane, and I think that this is just it's one of those where it's like you said, we knew that this was happening, but now that it's confirmed, like,
we're finally here.
If they do give them, and again, this all hinges on, will they get enough time? Because I feel like that's kind of been the.
I believe that they gotta. They have to.
That's been the plus.
6 matches on night one. They got to give these guys 20 minutes solid.
Yeah, but like there's been a lot of plus and minuses to recent matches over the years to where they just haven't gotten enough time or too much time. This is one of the matches that needs time. Like,
yes,
let me get a 15-minute just. And I know some people aren't the biggest fan of Dom, and that's great, but we're still talking about the greatest luchador of all time.
Dominic is growing
in Rey Mysterio. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, give me the character beats of the Judgment Day, and give me the in-ring style of Rey and Dom, and boom. I mean, you got at least a 3.5, 4-star match. And obviously that's not what the point is. We're not going for star match ratings here, but like, I want an enjoyable match. And this storyline has the key to be an enjoyable match. And it's like, how many more chances are we going to get for the father-son, match? Like, that just doesn't happen like anymore.
So this is technically WWE's first ever father versus son match.
Exactly.
AEW unfortunately beat WWE to it because AEW knew that WWE was building to this for a long time, but they just had to grow. Dominic just needed time to grow in his gimmick, and he's done such a great job. I love Prison Dominic, but the Guns. I mean, technically is the first ever father versus son match that I know of, but that's because they AEW wanted to like squeeze that in there.
AEW did whatever they could to make sure
claim to that. But
you knew that was the first. Yeah, really. But I don't know. I mean,
WWE is the first to build to a father versus son. Unfortunately,
if you put Guns versus Billy versus Ray versus Dom, gun to my head, I'd probably pick Ray versus Dom.
Oh heck yeah! I mean, they're gonna do good. I mean, like I said, Prison Dom is growing on me a lot, and I hope he keeps this like feeding into that as he gets for the next year or two or whatever.
So Dom wins, right? Like I'm fully on the Dom wins train. I don't see why he wouldn't. This is one of those matches where I don't see the point in having Ray win.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really hurt Ray.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt Ray. Rhea Ripley probably going to be out there.
Well, if they do it night one, I don't know if she would be, because it seems like that'll be the
that's true. Yeah, because Rhea Ripley I think is on night one as well.
Yeah.
So we got a Figgy smash Figgy. Let me tell you something. This particular fan knows so much more about wrestling and is so in tune about wrestling more at his age than I was when I was his age, for sure. 10 times much. It's dude, you are could be very well right on this one. With Ray versus Dom being Ray's last match.
I want to Dom, or I want to Ray
versus his last match, but I think they're winding down on Ray's career.
I would honestly love to
see his last Mania match.
I don't know how you get to. Yes, I agree with you. Last Mania match. I don't know how you get to it, but I'd love to see a John Ray versus Dom and Finn match at some point, even if it's just on a house show. I feel like that would be fun, and I'd love to see Ray and John like kind of team up, like just a 2002 Ruthless Aggression era one more time.
Mm-hmm. We kind of hit on Edge versus Finn Balor a little bit. I feel like that build has gotten hot, gotten cold, or like starting to stop. I don't even think they did anything too much on Monday that I can really think of.
It was just Edge being like, "Hey, bring your demon," which kind of confirmed that we're getting demon.
Yes. I'm wondering if it'd be Judgment Day demon, like purple black.
Which is great. I'm all for this.
Gotta do Judgment Day demon.
Yeah, I'm all for this match. And the last Hell in a Cell that WWE did was especially with Edge was really good. I think you're right though. Like, for a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania, you'd think there'd be a lot more build up, and it just has kind of been like, some weeks WWE seems to care about it, and other weeks it's just like, oh, this the third or fourth story. Like this, if you're bringing back the Demon, who obviously has not been seen since his match with Roman, it's a pretty big thing. And Edge is obviously, also in probably this might be his last or second to last WrestleMania.
I think his last match.
It seems like it'll.
I think Edge is going to wrap up his career this year in Toronto.
I think
I'm thinking maybe like right around SummerSlam.
Yeah, I thought that they announced a Toronto show around then.
I might have to drive up to that.
Like, you almost feel like there's got to be something more. I expect this match to be great. 20-25 minutes of. I've always been a fan of use the Hell in a Cell as a feud ender instead of just it's another part on the calendar.
Don't you worry. They'll find a way to get.
He's in the WrestleMania Battle Royal, baby.
Yeah, but he'll probably be in somebody's corner over the next one of the 2 nights.
Maybe he'll be in. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm excited for that. But it just seems like I should be more excited for the fact that we're getting a Hell in a Cell on WrestleMania with arguably 2 of the top 10 most. I don't want to say in ring, but the probably top 10 most over stars on the roster right now.
You remember, speaking of Hell in a Cells at WrestleMania, do you remember WrestleMania 15 when Undertaker murdered Big Boss Man?
Yes,
you see Big Boss Man hanging on a noose from the cage.
It was just that it was
crazy.
It was just that it was just such another this happened in the show, and then they just moved on.
I was very concerned. I could not believe what I was watching at WrestleMania 15.
So what? How old were you at that point? I would have been 1. So obviously
17.
Okay, so that I remember. I remember seeing that on 15, DVD.
I was 18.
Okay, I remember seeing that on DVD, and I was just like, "This is
I could not believe this. Undertaker literally murdered somebody on TV.
And then they just they brought him up, they raised up the cage and everything, and then I was just like, okay, next match.
Man. What was the other hell? There was a couple. What was the other hell? Triple H, Undertaker.
That's
WrestleMania 28 Miami.
Top 5 all-time favorite match.
I was there for that.
We have Taker and Shane. I think that was the last one.
Yeah. Undertaker basically murdered Shane.
Gosh.
No. Shane jumped on to take. I forgot how that happened.
He missed. Yeah, Taker won, but he missed the jump. Well, hold on. Let's rephrase that. Undertaker murdered Shane over the most grueling 35 minutes of all time. This is the slowest Hell in a Cell match. Almost to the point of Triple H, Shawn Michaels hour-long match from 2004. It was the slowest, just I don't care WrestleMania Hell in a Cell match I've ever seen. It was good, and that moment was great, but it was ruined by one, Michael Cole's call of the For the Love of Mankind, and then also just being a terrible match. It was so thrown together, and they didn't build off the story or whatever, which, maybe as long as they don't bring up Vince's lockbox in the next week for this Edge Finn Balor feud, I'm sure we'll be okay.
So the matches are probably going to be better in WrestleMania 38 than WrestleMania 37 and 36 because Triple H is booking it, and Triple H kind of likes that NXT work rate, and which is a lot better and more enjoyable to watch than the way Vince McMahon booked the matches. So the work rate is a lot better under Triple H booking. So I think we're going to see better matches there. But what's really going to make things a little better is because we're seeing some of the most compelling storylines for leading up to a WrestleMania than we've seen in a couple of years. The past couple of years, it's the builds were all right. Nothing too special. Again, let's just get to Mania, and then when we get to Mania, then it's been pretty good. But here, it's been, other than a couple shows in between, it's been a very, very compelling storyline. Everything's been a year-long storyline leading up to this next weekend.
Maybe not must watch, but I think every show over the past probably 6 months has been there's something that you want to see that will either further advance. We brought it up, the Cena Theory promo. I don't remember anything else from that show, but I remember that promo. The court session with Sami Zayn at Raw 30. I don't really remember too much from that show, but I remember that. Like, there's been little moments like that, and like that's the thing is like, I think you hit it on the head. Is, I mean, we're getting a champion who hasn't made it. It hasn't been pinned in almost 1,000 days. I think it's even over that. Like, I think it's like 1,200 or something. Like, we're getting that culminating in a match at Mania against probably the one guy who you would say that everybody's been predicting is going to take the title off him, and we don't know if he's going to win. Like,
I'm telling you, regardless of what happens at Mania, Gunther is waiting in the wings at some point.
That's great, but like that's the thing is there's so much intrigue around just that match, and then you have 1 in 8/9 other matches to fill and everything, and like that's the thing is I think in the aftermath of COVID, 37 WrestleMania. I'm glad that you brought this up, but like 37 was kind of the, hey, we're back in front of fans. Let's just put on a show.
And that was like 50% allowed in the stadium.
I think 37 was good. I think they did a good job. I don't remember having
production-wise, they did pretty good. It was raining too.
Yeah, last year was phenomenal, at least from a fan standpoint, and I feel like WWE was like, okay, we have this main event that everybody knows has seen before. There's only so much you can do with Roman Brock, but there was a lot of matches sprinkled throughout, whether it was, Logan Paul's match or Johnny Knoxville or Seth Cody, there's Stone Cold. There's a lot of like kind of like those fan service matches. And I almost feel like WrestleMania 39 is and I'm glad you said it, it's the work rate, show for fans. There's going to be some matches on here that I think are going to go 15, 20 minutes. And again, it's the quality over quantity thing. It's like, I don't need 15 matches each night. I don't need these thrown together tag team matches. I don't care. That's the point. And it's like these matches where even if it's only 5 or 6 matches on a card, you can somewhat build some sort of dislike for one of the people in it or the storyline. And I think that WWE's done such a good job at doing that recently that now it's, you don't need 10 matches. Like, you can have those 6, 7 matches, have a fan for each kind of match, and then go with it. I don't need a 4-hour WrestleMania. Give me 3 hours, 6 matches, give them 20 minutes, give me a few pops in between with, returning superstars. Obviously it's WrestleMania, baby. Like, we're going to have our concerts and our little things, but like this show has the potential. How do I put it? I almost feel like it's got the WrestleMania 31 potential, and where like the IWC will say that it's not been built up too well, and then it ends up being, top 5 WrestleMania. Like this, I think personally, this Mania is one of the ones that I'm most excited for in years, dude. Like it's less than a week away. Like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be off work and everything for it. Like,
yeah. So let's move along really quick. Charlotte Flair. I mean,
I don't care.
A lot of times she has go away. She has go away heat with me, but Rhea Ripley is doing a phenomenal job lately. They're building Rhea Ripley. I think she's poised to take that title off of Charlotte again, resulting in another Charlotte short reign.
Stop. I don't care.
Inflate her numbers. It's ridiculous.
I don't care if she wins or loses. I just don't want. I'm just tired of seeing her.
Yeah.
Play the burial music then.
Yeah.
Me, my burial.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Usos. Usos have been tag champs for nearly 2 years. This is another compelling storyline. The way Jey Uso was distancing himself from Jimmy Uso. We're wondering which side that Jey Uso is going to take. We were anticipating a turn a little bit earlier on Sami Zayn, so WWE dragged that out a little bit. And when that happened, that was done so well. And then with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn hugging it out, now they're like, Now they're like huggers. They're like the best friends gimmick from AEW. Yeah. They're like hugging every night now. And
but
that one moment, that first hug that Kevin Owens gave Sammy,
so good.
What a moment that was.
And that's the thing is, again, we're getting, like you brought it up, we're getting an almost year and a half payoff to a championship or a story. Usos have held this title for almost as long as Roman. And now I wouldn't say it's guaranteed, but it almost is certain that the Usos will lose the titles to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Like,
yeah,
that's a big deal. We're getting new tag champs. Like, that's the payoff. Like the storyline arcs of this show, just from like a different, and almost I feel like it's like a win probability graph. You know, like it's just been kind of up and down, and then slowly moving, and then now we're moving into WrestleMania, and it's just been like everything is full throttle. Like everything is so in your face. We're ready to go. Like it's WrestleMania. Get excited, and I love that.
Yeah, I mean, this is the much anticipated. Now, Tommy, not to mention, we predicted Sami Zayn and KO versus Usos. We've been talking about it since SummerSlam.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it since SummerSlam, and there were a couple instances in around January where they thought, okay, maybe there's the possibility that WWE pivots and pushes Sammy into that main event spot. But had they not really had plans with Cody, Sami Zayn would have got that spot. Like, just they would have changed their plans.
Yeah. But hey, kudos to WWE, man. Like,
but we called this 8 months ago.
Yeah. But like, seriously, kudos to WWE. Like, Sammy has been obviously over in his own sense. That Montreal match was incredible. Like that was some of the best fan interaction I've seen as a fan, like just from pay-per-view. But like you said, like, dude, Cody is, even if Cody wasn't healthy, then you go with Sammy, and that's a great option. But Cody's over in his own sense. Like every time that his theme song plays and that whoa, goes off, man, the crowd is in tune. The crowd is into it. Like in WWE has done a fantastic job of using kind of Sammy's overness and kind of building it into that Usos match and making that an important, because that's an important night one match. Like let's be real here, and you have that, and then to kind of keep the same heat, but also have Cody be his own story with the whole interaction with Heyman, in which I could see Paul playing a role in Cody's win. But like WWE has done such a good job of managing that, because you almost in it for a while there, it seemed like we were going to have the Daniel Bryan thing where the crowds were just going to hijack and make Sammy that main event guy, and like
it was very close. I'm sure that they were very close to making that move.
Yeah, I'm sure that they would have made a good decision, but that's a tough call, putting him as over as he is, and then you got the returning, the savior of the masses almost in Cody, like with how over he's been recently. Yeah. So the fact that now, instead of doing the who do we pick kind of thing, now you have two matches that are over as hell with what seems to be both faces going over. Like that's
I mean, we think both faces could go over.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's that main event on night 2.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Undisputed Era and NXT lost their titles all in one shot. Am I correct?
Yeah.
I think it was them.
Well, hey, if you brought up the history of the podcast, if you know me, I've been calling for the downfall of the Bloodline for months. I thought it would be the tag team titles going first, and then Roman, losing, and I think that's how it plays out well here. It's like, Usos lose on night 1, and then we see kind of the start of the Bloodline fall, and then Roman loses, or even if he wins. I mean, there's
always that chance where
there's a story that he wins and he's the last surviving member of the Bloodline. And as much as I want to see Cody win, because I'm a Cody fan, I'm never going to be upset about a good wrestling story. Like if Roman wins and they do,
because they keep talking, like WWE keeps mentioning, and people keep mentioning that Roman's held the title for nearly 1,000 days.
Yeah.
Do they let Roman Reigns go to 1,000 days?
I'm all for, if there's only one person, only one, that I'd be okay with winning the title that's not Cody, and it's Jay. Jay started the story. Jey Uso started the story. I don't think that it makes sense if he isn't the ender, if it's not Cody. It just works perfectly. I think Jay has come into his own. I'll still hold it to that the I Quit Hell in a Cell match is one of my all-time favorite matches. Not only just recently, but or in general, but like of the COVID era of wrestling. But if that's the way that they go, and I mean that's a big SummerSlam match. I don't know if you kind of hold Roman off that long, because it just doesn't really make sense in the sense of like who's going to challenge him until then, and you kind of can't go without your champion. But if it is Jay, I mean that's a big match, because that has to be, it's either got to be Cody or Jay. If it's not Cena, if it's not Orton, if it's not Riddle, if it's not all these guys, it's got to be Jay, or it's got to be Cody.
I mean, I think they're gonna head that way, Roman versus Jey Uso at some point.
I can still see that being the SummerSlam match without a title, and I'd be 100% like a grudge match. I'd be great with that.
Let's move it along really quick. Yeah, and we got Lesnar versus Omos. You know that WWE is building that around Brock Lesnar putting the F5 on Omos.
Who cares?
Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul is going to be good. Yeah, the men's tag team showcase with the 4-way. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus Gunther is going to be another great one.
Yes,
you got, if
that has to be
Gunther
the house open night 2.
It's predicted to open, not open, but be on night 1.
No.
I'm sorry. It's predicted to be on night 2.
It has to open night 2.
It could open. It could open.
The first thing is you get Drew with that, bringing back Broken Dreams from Clash of the Castle.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
I think they got to give Sheamus the title here. If Gunther drops it, they got to give Sheamus the belt here, just because this has been like an 6, 7, 8 month long build. It could very well be a potential show stealer. I mean, this is going to be a banger. I mean, just look at what Sheamus versus Gunther did at Clash of the Castle. I almost went to that pay-per-view in England. Oh man, I was so super close to going to that.
So what? That was, so Sheamus Gunther was what, 20 minutes? Right? 15, 20 minutes?
20 to 25.
I just say random times.
Yeah.
Think about this. But like, if you give Sheamus, McIntyre, Gunther 20 to 25 to start night 2, I mean, I don't there's not enough words to put in how incredible that was, in the sense of, and I'm glad you brought it up. If you look at that Clash at the Castle match, oh my God, like Sheamus is the most over he's ever been in his career.
Drew and Sheamus have had bangers.
Like it, and I'm sure that Ridge and Butch will get involved. I'm sure Imperium will get involved in some sense. Like this is a showcase, and again, it points a picture to that international talent pool that WWE has kind of been like highlighting a lot recently, and with the whole, we want to make NXT Europe and everything. Like, you got, if Imperium and Butch get involved, that's 6 dudes who aren't from the US opening WrestleMania as some of the most over guys on the roster. Like that's impressive, and that should be highlighted. And it just, I can't imagine a better, now obviously we don't know the match card, because WWE again has been very kind of sly in the way of announcing everything. But if that is night 2, I can't imagine a better night, opener. Like that is the work rate fan, Mania match. Like that's just such a good start to the show that the fact that we're getting this now. I wish that the 5-way that they had on SmackDown for this chance. I wish that would have been the match at WrestleMania. Make it a ladder match or whatever. But this is still going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, this is going to be a great show, and not to mention WrestleMania being highlighted by Cody versus Roman Reigns. A lot of things that can happen there.
It's the questions
the person that beats Roman Reigns is going to be a made man.
And that's the thing is Cody is so over right now. And I mean, if there was, we're talking about something, and this is what kind of ticks me off about the whole, this WrestleMania has been built up so well. We're talking about something that hasn't been done since the 1970s, before I was born, before you were born, of a wrestler holding the title for this long. Like, this has been Bruno levels of it, just
actually Hogan. I don't think Roman has held it a little longer than Hogan yet.
I don't like Hogan.
But it's like right there. I think it's Bob Backlund, Bruno, Hogan, then Reigns, but Reigns is pretty getting close to Hogan.
But the importance still matters. Is we're getting a guy who's held the title for 1,000 days for 2.5 years.
It hasn't happened.
Least. Like, this is huge, and now we're getting the guy who started WWE's competition, and he's fighting for it. Like, that's just insane. Like, this story has just been incredible, and you could sell me on that alone, just from that being the fact. But now we've had these Heyman promos, the Cody promos. Roman and Cody just got in the ring last week. Like, if you needed a wrestling, I mean, as much as I wanted Rock versus Roman, versus Roman to be the match, like,
hey, listen, that could very well be the match next year.
Yeah, I expect
because Triple H is already planning next year's WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and he wants to make it big.
I need him to announce.
Hey, Rock, I need you. You have 1 year to get in shape. Let's do it.
Here's the thing, Roman or Triple H. I know you guys do this whole announcing WrestleManias in advance, and you announce next year or the year after on WrestleMania. So if you want to, I know WrestleMania 40's in Philly. Let me tell you, there's this city you're going to in the Midwest, in Detroit, for this year for SummerSlam. There's this city that's been hurting for WrestleMania. At this point, next year, it'll be 33 years. Triple H, I implore you, Indianapolis, WrestleMania 41, April 5th, April 4th and 5th. It's got to happen, dude. 2024. It'll be my birthday.
I'm sure at some point Indy's gonna get some love.
I need it. Dude.
And I'll make sure I might have to crash at your place, by the way, for that,
dude.
Because I can't afford hotel. Well, I can, but I can't.
I don't.
It all
depends.
Think
people understand.
Check this out. Montreal.
Yes.
Is probably gonna happen soon at Olympic Stadium. I don't. Let's just say probably within the next 5 years. Montreal
after Chamber, you're damn sure it is.
Montreal's definitely getting it. Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep, after SummerSlam,
WrestleMania 43. I've heard for Nashville, Tennessee.
45, I could see an international. I could see them go international for 45. I think
maybe sooner, but I can see it too at the absolute latest.
I hope it's sooner.
London.
But I agree, because they're going there for Money in the Bank. Also, let's just point out the fact that,
how about Vegas?
Yes, of course.
That's gonna happen. Give that 2 years. So I'm thinking maybe 41 or 42.
Yeah,
because they'll be in
West Coast. Vegas is for sure on that. I wouldn't be surprised if 41 was Vegas anyway.
But I think that was the plan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right. I think
I've heard rumblings that that's the plan. As much as I want it to be India.
I think the original plan though was before COVID happened. 37 was supposed to be LA.
That was right when they announced the Legion Stadium was opening.
Yeah, like Vegas was announced as a WrestleMania, and then COVID just changed that all.
I mean, that's a great spot, but like
I think Vegas is getting it 41.
I did want to point out, like, the next 3 pay-per-views after this are all out of the country, which I think is insane, and it's great. I love the stadium shows, but yeah, I as much as I want Mania to be overseas earlier, I think 45 is like the perfect. I love I'm the kind of person I like the anniversaries. I think WrestleMania 40 is going to be huge next year in Philly, which is why I'm going. But like, I just think that 45. Yeah, you're right. It probably should be quicker, but 45 in London, like, could you imagine? And like, I don't know, have Pete Dunne. Let me get a Pete Dunne main event. You know, that match. It seems like that's what we're getting is Pete Dunne coming back. But like,
that could happen. Pete Dunne is so young. Tyler Bate.
Like next month we're getting Backlash. Thank goodness they're not calling it WrestleMania Backlash. Stupidest name, but Backlash in Puerto Rico. We're getting. Is it? I can't remember if it's Money in the Bank or King of the Ring next. King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi, and then Money in the Bank in.
The next American pay-per-view at the WrestleMania is SummerSlam.
Is SummerSlam in Detroit?
Yeah.
Like, in the logo again. For people watching, if you don't know, I live in the Midwest. There's not a lot of major wrestling shows that come out here. Like
Detroit's your closest major show in a while.
Exactly. Like if it puts it in perspective, next year's WrestleMania, which will be the first one that I will be attending, because I've made sure that everybody is just like, I just want money for my birthday. I've told my parents so I can save up. But like next year's WrestleMania is the first WrestleMania that's been anywhere close to me.
Yeah.
Since 2007, Mania 23, which was in Detroit. Like,
we are literally working on, like, there's so many people I know that are interested in going to this Mania. Like, I got to do a head count, and I'm working on trying to booking everybody. This, like, we ain't gonna be able to book seats together for sure. There's because there's like 20 of us that I know are going. But we're gonna try to keep everybody together. Same hotel.
I think like it has to be like that Mania
rental car
there. But especially if for how much I talked about it this year, if it's Rock Roman, and you think I'm missing that personally, like I thought it would happen this year, it didn't. But if you think I'm gonna miss the chance to miss Rock Roman in Philly on my birthday weekend.
Oh gosh, you're gonna get so crunk. Oh,
you're insane.
Let me tell you, like Philly, oh man, Philadelphia that's gonna be a wild weekend.
Shout out to Mom and Dad for having me around WrestleMania weekend every year, so that I can enjoy it for my birthday.
You know, it's just gonna be a lot to look forward to there.
Yeah, dude.
But let me tell you, if Rock does not wrestle a match by next year,
he's not coming
about
back.
it.
Yep,
you won't see him, because this year I felt was the best shot to have him. It's in LA. He doesn't have to travel far. He's right there. But
I thought I was getting worked. The whole he's not in shape kind of thing. Yeah. Stop it. Don't do that to me. But I agree with you. I thought this year was
next year we'll have Steve Austin, we'll have The Rock, Cena will be there. Everybody's going to be there. Hogan's going to be there.
I fully expect 40 to be just if there was a last kind of call for these legends that we've, the fact that we're still talking about Steve Austin possibly wrestling. I mean, man, he could be going up against LA Knight, even in a promo battle at Mania this year. But like the fact that we're talking about him, like, I think WrestleMania 40 is going to be the actual end of an era. Cena, man, we might even see an Undertaker match if we're being honest. Like, probably see the end of Brock. Probably see the end of Rock.
No, like this could be like there could be like a lot of career curtain calls next year.
Yes, I think Randy probably has his curtain call next year, if he's healthy, of course, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I really don't know what to make of it. There's gonna be it's like we're seeing, like what we're seeing now is slowly but surely a new crop of wrestlers, because Roman's gonna be basically part-time.
That era switch is always that era switch is so cool. I never really kind of got to experience it from the Attitude Era to the Ruthless Aggression Era, but like we're kind of getting that.
Yeah, we're getting another era switch. The
I
first
don't
one
want to say the end of the Ruthless Aggression Era because I feel like obviously that's past, but like this is the passing of the torch from guys like Cena and Lesnar and Orton. You know, obviously, and Bobby Lashley was in that kind of like that same era, like in Brock. Like these are these guys, and now it's like now we got Riddle and Austin Theory and Gargano, and like even on the women's side, we're getting
Cody Gunther.
Yeah, like we're getting Trish Stratus and Lita. Obviously, they're a little, it's extending the parameters a little bit, but this is a big Mania. I don't think we've had like, and that's what bothers me. I keep saying it, but like
WrestleMania 8 in Indiana, WrestleMania 8 was
at the Hoocher Dome, baby.
Figgy, if you're watching still, you need to watch WrestleMania 8 because
you don't watch it because it's terrible.
No, yes and no. I mean, the uniqueness of part of it is that a lot of these matches were like pass the torch matches, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It was like golden era meets new generation.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look into 1993, there was like a max exodus of wrestlers to WrestleMania 9. And like if you look at the match card between WrestleMania 8 and WrestleMania 9, more than half the wrestlers weren't even at WrestleMania 8 that were on WrestleMania 9. So there was a new WrestleMania 9 kicked off that new generation, so to speak, 10, and then that basically segued into Attitude Era when solely 96, 97.
And that's the thing. It's
for like the next 5 years, and then Cena. It's when Cena won that U.S. title officially
at Mania 20. Yeah,
Benoit, Guerrero winning their titles. It was there, and so that was another kind of pass to story. WrestleMania 20, you had Rock and Mankind versus Orton, Batista, and Ric Flair. That was another patch to torch WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Same thing with 30. So, we're seeing it again where a new crop of wrestlers are coming up.
It's so fun that we get to sit here, and we've spent probably the last 10 minutes just talking about the potential of WrestleMania 40. In next week's WrestleMania 39. Like, it's so great. But no, I agree with you. Like, this almost in a way seems like also the passing of the torch from one era of not just like the wrestling era. I mean, this is the first WrestleMania that hasn't had Vince McMahon attached ever. Like, this is
I think he has his fingerprints on
I'm sure.
Brock Lesnar versus Omos.
I agree.
And I think he's got some. I think he's whispering in the ear of Triple H a little bit. Like,
I imagine his influence is not just completely
Triple H's first Mania.
Yeah, I don't think
how you do, and then next year you're flying on your own, Triple H.
But that's the thing is like I agree with you. I don't think that his influence is just completely gone. I'm sure that Vince is still around, but like we're talking about a WrestleMania that doesn't have Vince as the main guy for the first time in 38 years. 1985. Like this is the first WrestleMania that doesn't have Vince. And I hope it
stays like that.
And I agree with you. I hope it stays like that. And like I just don't. The people who say this just isn't a good built up Mania, I think they aren't looking at stuff like that. Like that is a major piece. Like this is huge. And as we've noticed with Triple H in NXT, he likes long form. He loves the long form storytelling. I wouldn't be surprised if we see stuff that's impacted. Yeah, I agree with you, Figgy. You're damn right. But like, I wouldn't see
if he had it his own way. Absolutely.
Like, if WrestleMania 39 plays a huge impact in WrestleMania 40, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we get. I don't know if you let Cody hold the title for a whole year, just in the sense of you just had a 2.5 year title reign. I think Cody, if you were, Cody would
I think if Cody wins, I think he holds it till Survivor Series, or I think Gunther's going to be the guy to take it off.
I wouldn't be upset if he held it to Mania. I don't want it to
and
come
by
off that
WrestleMania
way.
40, they may have the title split.
But that's
I don't know
the thing.
how they're going to get there, but
I imagine the will be split. But also, like, I don't know.
But then again, they might not, because Cody's probably more willing to show up on both shows than Roman Reigns is. So Cody could bring back the winged eagle belt.
I hope so. Winged eagle and the big gold. Bring them both back. I don't like the red and blue shit.
Although they kind of do, the titles do look nice, and at some point I got to buy those titles.
They look better on Roman. I think I've been growing on them because they've been on Roman.
Yeah.
But no, like I wish. Like I don't know how WrestleMania 40 will be playing out, but it's just I don't think it can convey over the podcast, but just the fact that we're talking about WrestleMania 40 and like kind of like pre-planning it, and WrestleMania 39 is less than a week away. Like I just can't imagine. I can't put into words the excitement that I have. Like I'm so ready for.
Like I kid you not, like. Probably one of our first or second podcasts after this coming WrestleMania, we'll probably be predicting next year's WrestleMania.
Oh, for sure.
A year out. And let me tell you something. We'll probably be right on some of that stuff.
Yeah. And that's what's so fun is like, I think as a wrestling fan, like the one thing that kind of brings everybody back is the Royal Rumble. And like, that's great as it should be. And this year's Royal Rumble was so good, but I think just like this time of the year, there's just a different enjoyment that I have as a wrestling fan that I don't think a lot of people get, and it's it's just different. Like this is the best part of the year as a wrestling fan, and in a year from now we'll be talking about another anniversary show. Like,
oh my gosh!
I'm so excited, man.
So, like we talked about,
I need you to be WrestleMania.
Yeah, like we talked about in the beginning. Next weekend is big. There's NXT Stand and Deliver. We got WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. Not to mention, you mentioned Ring of Honor Club. Not to mention MLB baseball starts this Thursday. Let's go Red Sox. Maybe not.
I keep seeing you posts about their spring training, like how they had a perfect record. Man, that ain't mean shit. That don't mean nothing. You're talking about the everybody. Man. You see that?
We'll see. Listen, you know what? The Red Sox might not even make the World Series. Like they may not even make the playoffs. But let me tell you though, the whole AL East division, every first to last place, however it shakes out, everybody's gonna have a good year because the AL East doesn't get to see a lot of each other this year. They get to see more National League teams.
Everybody plays everybody.
Yeah. Oh man. And the AL East is a lot stronger than most of those National League teams, including the Red Sox. I think
crazy.
Baltimore, Tampa, Yankees.
Yeah.
They're all gonna have a good season. So it's gonna suck for whoever falls in 4th and 5th place because I believe the second, and even if you're in last place AL East, you're still having a pretty decent year. That's how good that division is going to be.
The worst team in the AL East finishes with probably 80 wins, 80 and 82. Like, I think Boston still has enough pieces to be okay. Baltimore, I think, is a year away, but they're obviously young and got pieces. Toronto is Toronto. Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay. Yeah. New York's got some injuries, especially to their pitching that started off recently. But like, just because they're playing less division games doesn't mean that this isn't going to be a dogfight. I think that all 5 teams in the AL East.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a dogfight in a different way.
I know you're a Boston fan, and I'm not saying this to make you upset, but I think Boston has the least chance to win the division.
I can't argue that.
But I think all 5 teams have in knowing the way the MLB goes, I think all 5 teams have a chance to win the division and be a team that you could see come late October. And like, that is just insane it's even better when you look at the money. It's like, you look at New York and Boston, obviously they're tops, Toronto's middle, and then Tampa Bay and Baltimore are kind of pushing towards the bottom. And
I literally think
the best teams of the division. Like
I literally think 3 teams are coming out of the AL East.
For sure, at least 3.
Cleveland's coming out of the West, and Seattle and Houston coming out. I'm sorry, Cleveland coming out of the Central, Seattle and Houston coming out of the West.
The only other team I could possibly see is, and you could either put, I don't know, you could either switch Seattle, Tampa, or Toronto is Minnesota. I think the AL kind of has its like top tier teams in Houston, in New York. I think I'm a homer, but I think Tampa Bay will be a lot better than people expect this year. I think Toronto will be good. Seattle,
Baltimore is going to be good too.
Yeah, Seattle got a taste of the postseason. They want to be back. Minnesota's good. Cleveland, obviously, has been a consistent team.
Seattle, Houston are going to have a dogfight.
Yes, that'll be a fun.
That's gonna be fun.
Hey, Texas, don't sleep on Texas either, man. Texas,
yeah, that's true. They could be the sleeper. They could be the sleeper.
DeGrom in a full season of Marcus Simeon and Corey.
DeGrom's gonna stay healthy. He's not even having a great spring. But
that's true. But I'm just, it's just like, I almost feel selfish in a way because my birthday is next week. But like,
and your birthday is next week. So that's another big event.
Correct. It's nothing crazy, but like Mania and opening day, like within like a week of my birthday, like that's just it's a lot of cool stuff. Like it's such a perfect time, and I haven't been this excited for baseball season in a long time. Then MLB The Show comes out on Tuesday, and then it's I'm off Thursday. I work on Thursday, but then I'm off. Thursday's opening day. Saturday's Mania. Sunday's Mania. Monday's night after Mania. And then Wednesday is my birthday. And so it's just like the wrestling, the baseball, the just everything. Like I'm excited, man.
Not to mention, we got our third anniversary. We're starting our 4th year as a podcast already.
That just blows my mind. If you can't tell the excitement from my face, like it's there. I promise you. This is going to be a not only a well-deserved week for both of us, from the sense of, man, like I remember where we were, how I was sitting. I was actually sitting on this exact futon, funny enough, 3.5 years ago, or 3 years ago, watching, doing our first show together. And here we are. About to start WrestleMania. Like we were talking about WrestleMania 36. If it doesn't tell you anything, people, I've changed a lot.
Yeah.
And so have you, Wayne, and like this show since WrestleMania 36.
I can't like it's and we'll talk about it more, but like thinking back,
we're at WrestleMania 39.
Those of you guys that are watching, I challenge you to go back on our YouTube channel,
watch first
episode 1,
crazy,
and then watch our first show together. That was like 30 something, but to see how much like we both grown on air is just something else. But last night I did like a little bit of a quick announcement for like 3 minutes, a public speaking thing at church, and just like talking to everybody, it just came like natural, like it was just easy. I wasn't nervous.
I feel like we've both grown in that sense of being able to talk, but it's just also, it's like, at least for me, like obviously we know that wrestling is kind of that niche thing, and I feel like it was when I first started this podcast, it was almost like I'm a wrestling fan, but I still gotta hide it, and it's just I don't feel that anymore. Like it makes me so happy to talk about wrestling and be so excited that I'm excited for WrestleMania. Like it's been a whirlwind. The last 3 years I've seen some pretty terrible wrestling. Thanks COVID years.
You ain't kidding. We came in at a bad time, but it's gotten better since.
But we've also seen some of the all-time greatest wrestling and most fun moments that I've had as a wrestling fan in the last 3 years. And I think that's partly, due to this podcast. And it's that, but it's just, these shows that have that have been like the main attractions. Like we talk about the big four, the big five, they're whatever. But over the last few years, man, they've lived up to that. Like the Survivor Series this year finally felt like Survivor Series. Like this is, I wish I could convey it, and I feel like for the wrestling fans watching, it's understandable. But for the non-wrestling fans, like this is if your team was going to the Super Bowl, and you have to wait that extra week between the Pro Bowl and the actual game to know, like, oh, my team's coming. Like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, before this podcast started, it was, oh, my team's playing in a week. There's one night. Great, but I get that excitement for one night, and then it's over. But when we started this podcast, and granted, it was, obviously because of COVID, they had to do this change, but now we get 2 nights of excitement, 2 nights of completely different fun. Like, as a wrestling fan, this is all you could want. Like the week leading up to WrestleMania, I can't put into words how I have my outfits picked out for this week at work, like what wrestling shirts I'm going to wear just to get hyped for WrestleMania. Like this is going to be a good week. And I hope that wrestling fans and, whoever's watching this and, wherever you are, like, I hope you can kind of get that same excitement that I have, because this is it in a weird way. This isn't we got to do a podcast or whatever. Like, this isn't just another thing I have to do. This is something I want to do. Like, we're talking about the best part of wrestling, of the wrestling fandom that there is. It's WrestleMania, and it's 6 days away. Like that is
Super Bowl of wrestling is
exactly
6 days away,
and I don't think people can understand that. And I'm glad you made that analogy. It's like this is our Super Bowl as a wrestling fan, and it's just the fact that we get 2 nights of it. Like when that first opening like thing hits, and then you hear the there aren't words to describe how happy I'm gonna be.
It's going to be a good one. WrestleMania 40 in 7 days. Well, actually, less than 7 days. We are, let's just say, about 6 days and 22 hours away from opening we're
time away,
of
man.
WrestleMania. It is
39, coming. Dude. Like,
yes. Where did the time go?
We're talking about something that was 13 years before I was born. It's still going. It's incredible.
It is still going. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel first and foremost. Make sure you guys share this with your friends and your family, your dog. Let's get this out there. We're going to have a big weekend next weekend. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to your listening platforms. We are there, but make sure you hit that subscribe button. Our shirts.
Do it for Brad Pitt right up there.
Do it for Brad Pitt.
Brad wants you to subscribe.
Also, not to mention, buy our new t-shirt, ProWrestlingTees.com. Search for the Aftermath Pro Wrestling. You can find us there, www.ProWrestlingTees.com. Get your shirt on. And also, not to mention, we have some great stuff. We got the prediction show coming up next week. We got WrestleMania post show coming up next week.
What's crazy is I don't know if the plans have been finalized, but I think we're gonna do not only just a pre-show, we're gonna do a night 1 post show. We're gonna do a night 2 post show and a recap.
Yeah, we'll have a recap episode. Our first episode back. It'll probably be covering the Raw aftermath of WrestleMania. Yeah, which that's going to be huge.
Here's the thing, and I know you always say it, but I'll take the liberty of saying it this year. This is the hardest working podcast.
Yes.
Of wrestling. You'll see Gage. You'll see. We'll have some friends of the show pop in on WrestleMania. I'll be there for night 2. I know Wayne, you'll be there for both. This is in a way like the most fun part as a wrestling fan, but as a podcaster, this is the most fun week too. This is like what we live for. Like this is the most exciting time of our sport, and we get to bask in the glory of it. Like
this is it. This is our Super Bowl too, as well.
Exactly. So yeah, man, this is if you haven't caught on, the excitement levels over the next week are just growing exponentially. Like this is I'm so looking forward to where I'll be a week from now.
To those of you guys that are watching, Tommy, thank you so much for hopping on tonight. We're gonna have everybody next week. Cannot wait, and we'll be back pre-show next week, post-show next week, and maybe a Raw post-show. We'll see. Anyway, those of you guys that are watching, you guys all have a good night. That is episode 104 in the books. We will see you all WrestleMania weekend next week. Tommy, thank you again. Catch you guys later.